And to everyone who's already joined, my name is Catherine Botzler. I'm the new Business Development Specialist at the Colorado Department of Agriculture. I don't think I've formally met you guys yet, but thanks for tuning in to our third installment of the Colorado Proud e-commerce webinar series. In this session, Jeff will be going over how to start selling on Amazon and share his knowledge on how to be the most effective on the site. And if you haven't joined us for a previous webinar yet, I'll just let you know that this session will be recorded and posted to the coloradoproud.org website, and you can go there to watch it and any of the previous recordings as well. Yeah, and if you have any questions throughout the presentation, you can put them in the chat box, or we'll have a 10-minute Q&A session at the end of the presentation. So feel free to, yeah.
I was going to say today from my side, I'm looking forward to presenting kind of Amazon in a broad overview of what selling on Amazon looks like. And so we're going to look at various ways to use Amazon. And then we're also going to look at kind of how you price your items on Amazon. And we're going to look at a few things that will make your journey more successful, such as brand registry and so on. So thank you for joining us today. We are not going to be setting up our platform today. That, I believe, is the next session. So there will be homework today if you are interested in kind of doing some setup stuff on the account. There is some homework to set your account up on the last slide. So let me know if anyone has any questions around that as we move forward. But again, today is kind of designed to show you the very basics of how Amazon operates and how you can plug yourself into their network. Of today's presentation, again, is getting started on Amazon and kind of understanding the kind of different ways that Amazon and you can interact with each other. So Amazon is an American multinational company which focuses on e-commerce, cloud computing, digital streaming, and artificial intelligence. Amazon just did around 400 billion in revenue in 2020. I kind of rounded up, but yeah, just a huge company that obviously operates globally and does give us access to global marketplaces as well. So yeah, let's look at how we can use Amazon to sell our products, not just in the US, but globally. All the systems work the same way. So whether you're operating in the US, Canada, Australia, Europe, or all of those markets, it's a very kind of seamless operation where all the portals do kind of operate in the same fashion. So how Amazon works is, as a seller, you have two options to engage on their platform. The one is an individual account. And this individual account, I don't recommend particularly, but we'll get into the reasons why shortly. But an individual account has no monthly charges, but rather you're only paying 99 cents per item that you sell for the sake of your plan. Now, that 99 cents isn't the only fee associated with that, simply your doing business cost per transaction. On top of that, there is also your fulfillment fees, shipping fees, etc. So don't think that that 99 cents is it. That's just what they charge for your selling plan portion. Oops, jump one slide forward there. So they have a professional plan, which is what I recommend sellers use, and that's basically $39.99 a month or $40 a month. That professional selling plan gets you a lot of perks that you don't get under the individual selling plan. And as you can see, if you're going to be selling more than 40 items a month, it kind of pays for itself anyway. So I'm going to click out on this link, and we're just going to quickly take a look at the way that Amazon presents these plans to us. Are you seeing the screen share with the Amazon selling plans or not? Not yet?
Yeah, no, sorry, I was muted.
No worries. Okay, are we seeing a selling plan screen?
Mhm.
Okay, so guys, this is straight from Amazon, and just wanted to quickly look at the two plans. So this is the individual plan, as I mentioned, it's 99 cents per item sold. This is your professional plan. This is $39.99 per month. Now, obviously, as I mentioned, this is not including your actual selling fees. This is just kind of what you're paying to do business on the portal. So why did I say I'm not a huge fan of the individual selling plan is that you don't have access to all of these things. Now, advertising on Amazon, you use the professional plan, and obviously a lot of what we're going to be talking about going forward is how you advertise to get your brand, the exposure as a new seller on Amazon. Buy box. We're going to look at this in a few slides, but the buy box essentially is where 80% of Amazon's transactions happen. And again, let's not get too boggled down in this right now, but the buy box is simply where you click to purchase the product as a consumer. And if you want to qualify for the buy box, you're going to want to have a professional plan. You also have access to advanced selling tools like APIs and reports. Also, if you want to sell in restricted categories, a professional plan is the way to go. We are going to talk a little bit at the end about restricted categories, and currently grocery is what's called a gated category, but we're going to get into that more towards the end of the presentation. So as you can see with this $40 payment, $40 professional plan, as long as you're selling more than 40 units a month, it kind of, as far as cost, is a benefit. And the fact that you get the advantage of the buy box, as well as access to the advertising portal, I just think kind of it's a no-brainer to go with the professional plan. So here's kind of the checklist of benefits. And again, I think we're not going to really get too far into this, but the two main benefits that I talked about is the buy box and then kind of having access to advertising, etc. So I'm going to go back to the presentation now. So, and again, this is very basic, so a lot of you guys might be familiar with these terms, but we're going to go over them anyway, just in case we have some people that aren't familiar with the terms. So in e-commerce or in fulfillment, we have what's called 1P or 3P. 1P, first party, 3P is third party. You can basically can conduct your business with Amazon either way. We're not going to talk too much about 1P. 1P in the Amazon world is called vendor, what's referred to as vendor. And Vendor Central is the platform that you engage with Amazon on. This is typically an invite-only program. And this is where essentially Amazon is a distributor, or they're the seller of your product. So they'll buy the product from you wholesale. And then you really have not too much to do after that. They kind of do everything on the platform. You are still responsible for some things, but again, we're not going to get into this too much because it is an invite-only program. Some of the benefits of vendor is though that you do have access to programs. Amazon Fresh is one of the programs, and that's a pickup grocery program through Whole Foods. If you sell to Whole Foods, you very well could already be in that Amazon Fresh program. But again, let's not get too boggled down on 1P because that is an invite-only program. And most of us are going to be engaging on the 3P side, which I'm actually more for nowadays. And I'll give a quick story at the end of this slide as to why I'm a bigger fan of conducting Amazon on the third party or the Seller Central platform. So Seller Central is essentially where you own the inventory, and you are simply selling it on Amazon's platform. Over the years, Amazon used to kind of restrict features and had more features available on Vendor Central, but as they moved more smaller sellers, and when I say smaller sellers, we're talking kind of 10 million under, to the Seller Central platform, they opened up a lot more tools which are extremely useful. There's some really great analytic tools which are available. The advertising tools are exceptional. So again, I'm a big fan of 3P, and I feel that it gives you a lot more control over your business. I'll give a quick story about doing business on 1P or on the Vendor Central platform, and this is where Amazon is. Think of like a Kroger or a grocery store that's buying product from you and then putting it on the shelf to sell. We got stuck in a kind of payment loophole where Amazon didn't understand the way that we had shipped the product in. And it's the way we'd always shipped the product in, which is 6 items in a master case. And they, for some reason, thought that it was the master case was the sellable case. There was a $60,000 dispute that took us over 12 months to resolve. And so that's why I said I'm not really a huge fan of Vendor Central. There's a lot of red tape and a lot of kind of management issues where you can kind of end up shouting into the hurricane and really not getting the attention or help that you need. And my story of kind of not getting paid for over a year is a good example of kind of red tape and loopholes that you can get stuck in as far as Vendor Central. And so most of our presentation, or in fact, all of our presentation going forth, is going to be focused on 3P, or the Seller Central platform. So in the Seller Central platform, you have 2 ways to engage with Amazon's customers. And you'll hear me very frequently referring to the customers on Amazon as Amazon's customers. I think it's a mistake to kind of think of them as your customer. I always say Seller Central or Amazon is Amazon's sandbox, or Jeff Bezos' sandbox, and he kind of tells us how to play in his sandbox. And I think it's a lot easier to think of the Amazon customer as Amazon's customer and not your customer. And that way you don't kind of have that emotional attachment to the transactions and to the customers. And it's a lot easier to kind of pass that control over to Amazon and to kind of trust them in the way that they handle their customers. So when we talk fulfillment, there are 2 options to fulfill with Amazon. The first is, or the one is FBA, or fulfilled by Amazon, and the next is fulfilled by merchant. Fulfilled by Amazon, you're utilizing Amazon's warehouse and fulfillment services to engage Amazon's customers. You send inventory into Amazon's warehouse or fulfillment centers and have your order shipped and fulfilled by Amazon. They take care of the warehousing, the picking and packing, the shipping of your items, as well as the customer service. So the next way to engage with Amazon is what's called FBM, or fulfilled by merchant. And this is essentially where you're responsible for warehousing and shipping your items to the Amazon customers, as well as providing customer service. You are required to meet pretty stringent Amazon requirements as far as time commitments to getting products to customers, the condition that the product arrives to the customer, all of that you're responsible for, and there is a score tied to your seller account as a seller, and how you engage customers as far as their transaction can rate you. And typically You have more exposure in the fulfilled by merchant category, which we'll see in the next slide. Fulfilled by merchant. So again, this is where if you have a warehouse and you're able to fulfill your own orders, or you have a third-party fulfillment center that you use, this is essentially a way for you to just plug Amazon into that network and to use those networks to fulfill your Amazon orders. Sometimes you would want to consider fulfilled by merchant if your products are heavy or oversized. If you already have a third-party fulfillment center in place that can fulfill your products from their facility, that would be a reason for maybe considering using FBM. If your inventory moves slowly or you don't expect to have a good monthly inventory turn, sometimes it's better to use fulfilled by merchant because Amazon does charge monthly storage fees, which can increase. As your product is stored there longer, it turns into long-term storage fees, which can become more and more expensive. So utilizing Amazon's fulfillment network can be expensive if you don't have good turns of your product. Are you able to meet Amazon's strict shipping requirements? Shipping on time and meeting promised delivery dates is very important to Amazon. You'll also need to be able to provide your own customer service, which means that if a customer has a problem with, say, not receiving an order, they're going to reach out to you, where you will have to take care of that problem. If something arrives damaged, the customer will reach out to you and you'll have to help resolve that problem. So any questions, any kind of interaction is directly in between you and the customer from a customer service standpoint when you've chosen to use Fulfilled by Merchant. Fulfilled by Amazon. This is the fulfillment method where you ship items into Amazon's warehouse, and essentially you're using Amazon as a warehouse or storage facility where they will pick and pack your products for you, as well as taking care of your customer service. I think, as I mentioned, there's a little bit less risk with Fulfilled by Amazon because they are picking and packing your items. So as an example, if your item needs to go into a second box, Amazon's going to take care of that and get it in that second box and get it shipped off to the customer if that's what's needed to get it to the customer. Whereas from your side, you ship it to the customer, there could be damage. You're going to be responsible for engaging and taking care of that with the customer. So you might want to consider FBA if you are okay with Amazon taking care of your customer service. If you don't have a fulfillment partner or a warehouse that can fulfill your orders, FBA is ideal for faster moving products. So if you have quick turning products and you have, say, a good sales cycle in a 30, 40, 60-day period, and you're not going to be hit with long-term storage fees, definitely FBA is a great option. If your operating expenses are greater fulfilling yourself, FBA becomes a great tool for saving money. And we're going to look at this in the next slide on fulfillment fees and kind of looking at how to decide whether FBA or FBM is an option for you. And we have looked at this previously, but we're going to look at this from a different perspective now as far as which fulfillment side we're choosing. FBA definitely frees up your time. It's a less hands-on endeavor because you're not picking and packing. You're not every day making sure that you're shipping products out to Amazon's customers. You are free to spend more time on advertising, building a robust catalog, which is how you present your items on Amazon, which we'll be looking at very shortly as well. So there are requirements on FBM, and we jumped around. Sorry, one slide forward. There are some requirements on FBM that we talked about, and the reason why I said I'm not the biggest fan of FBM is that you do have to have on-time shipping under 4%. You do have to have a pre-fulfillment cancel rate of under 2.5%, and that would be, as an example, if a customer ordered something and then you realized, shoot, I'm out of stock on this, or I can't ship this to the customer because it's about to expire. That would be a pre-fulfillment cancel, and you can't have more than 2.5% pre-fulfillment cancel in a month. 95% of your shipments have to have an uploaded valid tracking. So that means that when a customer places an order, there has to be valid tracking with the carrier associated with that 95% of the time. On-time delivery, you have to meet a 95% on-time delivery requirement, and that is set up by you when you set up your account. But most of us that shop on Amazon realize that we're looking for that fast 2-day shipping timing. And so are Amazon's customers. And unfortunately, on Fulfilled by Merchant, oftentimes you're not able to offer 2-day shipping. And so you're offering a longer shipping window. And that can be a turnoff to a customer looking to buy your product. So you do want to make sure that you set realistic shipping goals or expectations for that customer, because you do have to meet them 97% of the time. You have to match or exceed Amazon's return policy for your product. You also have the option to buy shipping services on Amazon, which does offer you some level of protection, because that does upload your tracking to the Amazon system automatically, and it does kind of guarantee that you'll meet your shipping requirements. Again, remember, these are Amazon's customers, and so you're required to meet Amazon's requirements for them. Again, these are the FBM requirements, or Fulfilled by Merchant requirements. These are things that you would consider if you're wanting to use your warehouse or your own fulfillment center. And if you cannot meet these obligations, your account can get suspended very quickly, and sometimes that's game over for your Amazon business if it's early enough on in the relationship. So as I mentioned, a big consideration is cost, and let's look at fees as far as fulfillment on Amazon, merchant versus Amazon fulfillment. Are we seeing the Amazon screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So this is what's called Amazon's revenue calculator, and we've looked at this before, but this is a tool essentially that can kind of dictate whether you should be using Fulfilled by Merchant or Fulfilled by Amazon. Sorry. I'm going to look at So this is a product that I sell on Amazon. It's called the Mighty Muffin. We're flapjacked, and this is our brand. And so what we're going to do is we're going to look at the costs associated with both sides of fulfillment. Your fulfillment, this would be merchant fulfilled or Fulfilled by Merchant. Amazon's fulfillment, this would be FBA fulfillment. Now, we've chosen this product because it's already kind of populated some of the price box dimensions and sizes associated with. So as you can see here, and you can use this tool to plug in your own product. If your product isn't sold on Amazon by somebody else, you can look for a competitor's product that is of a similar size and a similar price, so that you can kind of get an idea and play around with this tool. So this is the price charged to the customer. And say that these prices are going to be consistent regardless of which platform we're selling, whether we're selling them on the FBA side or the Fulfilled by Merchant side. So this is the price charge to get your product to the customer. So as an example, if you were shipping from your own warehouse, my case of Mighty Muffins will say cost $13 to ship to a consumer. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in my $13 shipping fee. Okay, this is my cost of fulfillment as far as what does it cost for my third-party fulfillment center or for me, myself, to fulfill this item from my warehouse. Is there any labor associated with a single shipment as far as picking and packing? So you could take your warehouse guy's labor and kind of decide what it would cost to pick and pack a single box, or you could simply negate this and put 0 here. Or if you use a third-party warehouse and there's, say, a pick and pack fee or something, you could plug that in here. For the sake of the exercise, let's say that it's going to cost me $1 in labor to fulfill this case of Mighty Muffins. So I have to put this in an additional box to ship to Amazon. I have tape and I have a sticker that I have to put on the box. So let's call that $2.50 in packaging material fees. So sorry, here we're going to cost of shipping the item to your customer. So let's say that again, it's costing me $13 to ship this to my customer. And we have customer service. Let's put a $0 amount here, because this could just be simply email engagement with a customer, etc. So we're not going to plug in a fulfillment cost there. And I actually entered in the wrong amount here. So give me 1 second while we correct this. So what it's asking us for here is price charged to the customer for shipping. As we know, everybody wants free shipping nowadays. And so I couldn't charge the customer $13 to ship that case to them on Amazon. If you wanted to, say, charge a shipping fee for the customer on Amazon, say you wanted to charge a flat rate of $6 for shipping, you could do that. Say you wanted to pass on your full cost of shipping, we could plug in that $13 here. I personally don't charge for shipping on Amazon because I'm trying to compete with that kind of free shipping mentality that most people have. So we're going to leave this blank. What does it cost for me to store this product in my fulfillment center? If you have warehouse fulfillment charges per pallet, you could break down what that case price costs per pallet. For storage in a month, let's make a number up here and call it 50 cents for storage. Cost of product. This is where you would put in your COGS. Let's just make a number up here for the sake of this exercise, and we'll call it $10. So you can see that that cost obviously translates to whether it's fulfilled by merchant or fulfilled by Amazon. So we're done with our fulfilled by merchant category here. The only other thing we want to plug in is how much does it cost to get our product to the Amazon fulfillment center so that they can sell it. You can ship your product into Amazon 2 ways: small parcel or less than truckload. If you're selling a small amount of goods that can be packed in a master pack and to ship that to Amazon, you can definitely use small parcel. You would just have to figure out what that cost is to get it to the Amazon fulfillment center, divided by the piece that's in the box, and you could put that in here. Now, I know 180 units sit on a pallet for me. If I ship in 1 pallet at a time, it's going to cost me, let's just call it $180, or a pallet $1 per case. So I'm going to plug in a 1 here, and that's how much it costs me to get a single case to Amazon when I ship in pallets to Amazon to utilize their fulfillment network. Now we're going to calculate our cost here. So as we can see, because of this expensive fulfillment fee of my own warehouse, which is my labor cost, my packaging material, and really the shipping of the product to the customer, I would only make 5% margin in this particular case if I did fulfilled by merchant. If I utilized Amazon's fulfillment network, you would see that my net profit is $10 or 30% margin. So where does this difference come in from? Well, as you can see, it's right here in the cost of fulfillment. Amazon, Amazon's fulfillment fee is $6.58. And what you can see is, where am I? This is essentially fulfilled by Amazon fees are calculated on the dimension and weight of the item. This fee estimate assumes the product is shipped from and sold in the country where you are currently signed into the Seller Central network. So remember how I said that Amazon had taken the dimensions and the weight of my product and decided how much it's going to cost to fulfill my product, and that's $6.85. We saw here, for me to ship my product myself, it was going to cost $13. And that's obviously where a lot of that, that savings is going to kind of come into play. So there we have it. You can plug your own items in, and you can kind of decide or see where your fulfillment costs would be. And as an example, we can do this with anything. Quaker oatmeal, if you sell oatmeal, and you can kind of decide, you can kind of use an already existing product in Amazon's network to kind of figure out where your fees might be if your product isn't sold on Amazon. But if your product is sold on Amazon, you can kind of type in your brand name here. And oftentimes there are already other people selling your product on Amazon because they're buying it through a distributor, or even maybe buying it through you to sell it on Amazon. If you wanted to kind of do a mock a mock transaction, you could put in the dimensions of your product here. So let's say it's the box that you currently have is 10 inches by 10 inches by 6 inches, and it weighs 5 pounds. And we're going to select the category. Most of us are in grocery, I'm assuming. So gourmet and grocery. And then we could use these estimates to kind of plug in as well. So either or would work great. Anyone have any questions around this tool? So here's the wild card. Obviously, we just looked at fulfilled by merchant versus fulfilled by Amazon. And I want to remind you that you can have a hybrid model. So you can have certain SKUs or certain items that you've sent into the Amazon network that's fulfilled by Amazon. And you can also have items in your catalog that are fulfilled by merchant. And some of the reasons why you might have a particularly fast selling item that you're selling, that you're sending into Amazon to let them fulfill by Amazon. And maybe you're launching a new item that you're uncertain of its velocity. And so you want to be a little bit conservative. And so you decide to launch it via fulfilled by merchant, so that you're not shipping all this product into Amazon that you're uncertain of how it's going to sell. But again, remember that can affect the ability to get the buy box. It can affect your ability to get Prime shipping, which we'll talk about later as well. You can have Prime fulfilled by merchant, which is the 2-day shipping program, where you can purchase that shipping from Amazon. But there are strict requirements that you have to meet to get into that program, and you do have to go through a trial period. So you do have access to Prime shipping under Fulfilled by Merchant, but it is a program that you have to kind of prove yourself under, and you do have to keep pretty strict selling scores when you do that. Seller feedback. This is a really big consideration when you're doing Fulfilled by Amazon versus Fulfilled by Merchant. As a seller, you have a score, and you have to keep that score attractive in order for customers to want to engage with you. Amazon has a seller feedback system, and this is different than product reviews that lets shoppers rate their experience with you as a seller. Fulfilled by Merchant, you're responsible for the condition, speed of which the item arrives, and you have a lot more exposure to a bad review from an angry or irritated customer. Whereas Fulfilled by Amazon, Amazon handles the picking, packing, and shipping, as we've discussed. You can request for negative feedback to be removed if that feedback is based on Amazon doing something. As an example, the product arrived, burst open, and the person wrote this as a seller review. You could request for it to get removed because that was through no fault of yours. Let's quickly take a look at some seller feedback. So you can see here, I just chose Bob Red Mill's store, and you can see they have 96% positive feedback. That's 383 ratings. A lot of this is done, a lot of their business is done through Fulfilled by Amazon or through Vendor Central. And so you can see that they obviously do a ton of business, but not too many people are writing reviews about the seller themselves or about Bob's Red Mill themselves, because most of the reviews are going to be put under the product. Again, if you were doing a Fulfilled by Merchant, you would be exposed to a lot more customer reviews here. And obviously you wouldn't want this to be negative. A 3-star would obviously start affecting people wanting to purchase from you. Shipping. FBA, when you ship your products into FBA, you automatically are qualifying for fast 2-day shipping for your customers. Under FBM, you have a self-fulfilled Prime as an option, as I said, but it is expensive, and you do have a trial period that you have to deliver on and meet every single expectation. Otherwise, they will take this option away from you. As a Fulfilled by Merchant option, you do have the ability to purchase your shipping on Amazon as well. And once we have our accounts set up, we'll look at what that looks like. As I mentioned before, I think Amazon's trained consumers to expect fast 2-day shipping. And so oftentimes, if you're using Fulfilled by Merchant and you're not able to get that product to the customer in a quick 2-day fashion, it's a turnoff, and they might not purchase it, or might purchase from another seller if there is another seller that has a faster shipping time on the portal. So next thing I want to talk about on Amazon is a tool called Brand Registry. Brand Registry is a tool that, as a brand, you will have access to. And I'm going to encourage you to sign up for this as soon as you've set your account up. Because you're a brand owner, you qualify for Brand Registry. And let's just look at the way Amazon presents it, because they'll show us all the details a lot better than I can explain it. So Brand Registry is a program where you simply have to prove that you're the brand owner, and some of this is just including like your registration with the Secretary of State, or a snapshot of your trademark, etc., when you're registering, and it's as simple as that. Enrolling in The brand registry unlocks a suite of tools designed to help you build and protect your brand and create a better experience for the Amazon customer. And we're going to talk about a few things here, and then we'll quickly click over to Amazon and look at some listings so we can understand what these benefits are. So when you're building your brand through brand registry, or after you've applied to brand registry, you are considered a brand on Amazon, and that gives you tools that other sellers don't have. The first one we're going to talk about is A+ content. A+ content helps businesses showcase their brand story and products features using rich text and images on the Amazon detailed page to help drive conversion and to increase traffic and sales. So we're going to look at what A+ content looks like in a moment. So just remember that this A+ content is a feature. Sponsored brands is an advertising feature which you have access to only through brand registry. And this is a wonderful advertising tool. It gets you kind of some great headline searches, which are really wonderful on Amazon. And we're going to take a look at a sponsored brand advertisement next. It also gets you an Amazon storefront, which is a wonderful way for you to present your brand as a whole in front of the Amazon customers. And also it gets you access to Amazon brand analytics. And as I mentioned, they really opened up some really cool features here. I mean, you can see age, sex, income, kind of all kinds of things about your shoppers, which can give you insight, not just on the Amazon platform about who's buying your product, but you can also obviously extrapolate and use this information to kind of understand more about your customer's journey, even outside of the Amazon platform. It also gives you the opportunity to protect your brand. And what this means is Amazon is an open platform where somebody could come in and put some information under your listing or under the Amazon listing, because these aren't your listings, they belong to Amazon, they're on Amazon's platform. But someone could come in and put some information on there that might not be true, or might not be the way your brand wants to present that particular bullet point to the customer. You have access when you have brand registry to control your listing in its entirety, so other people cannot come in and make changes and add images and do things that you might not necessarily want to be presented to your customer on the Amazon platform. So we're going to take a look at these right now. You also do have the option to report violations and to actually have sellers removed from Amazon if they're violating your sales agreements or your kind of brand ethics, etc. You can report these sellers and have them removed from the Amazon platform. And we'll go over that as well. So again, you are a brand, you have access to this, and I'm going to highly recommend you taking advantage of this free feature on Amazon. You can sign up through that hyperlink that I just showed you. There's a click on it to get brand registry, but let's set up our account before we do that. Just in the spirit of keeping things consistent, let's take a look at Bob Redmill's store. So this is the storefront that you have access to when you have brand registry. And as you can see, it's a wonderful place to kind of list your products. And so they have a gluten-free section here where they can tell their story about their gluten-free products. They have one of their famous or popular products in their store available for sale. They're alluding to a recipe here, which you can click on. There's another product which they're showing you can make their bread with. Here's another product where they're showing you to make biscuits. And here's some other like products which they're advertising to. And so it's a great way to present your brand, your story to your customers. You could then in turn have breakout categories for all the different items you sell. So here's their breakout for grains. Here's their breakout for the flour products they sell. Here's their breakout for their baking aids, xanthan gums and things like that, I'm assuming. And then here's the really cool part where you can really tell your brand story, kind of, really have some fun engaging with your customer and really create a kind of connection with the customer on Amazon and kind of telling them more about what you do if you have any really cool story or things that are a compelling reason for a customer to buy with you. Here's a great place for you to sell, and then you can also share and link out to your social. So this is a feature that only comes with Brand Registry, and I'm a huge fan of it. I said we were going to look at a brand, an advertising banner, which you get access to as Brand Registry. Do you see this top banner here? This is a really wonderful advertising place where you have access to if you're a brand. So again, it's a great place where you can advertise to competitors' products as well if you have Brand Registry. Let's see if we can actually find an example. So say I'm searching for oatmeal in general on the Amazon platform. Quakers was able to advertise to me this banner ad as the first thing that I see. And so again, this banner ad is a branded ad which you have access to as Brand Registry. I wanted to quickly talk about A+ content as well. I know we're getting close to the end of the session. So also with that Brand Registry, as I mentioned, comes some great perks. You get A+ content. Let's look at some A+ content. And this is a way that you engage with the customer on your listing. So when we're setting up your listings in the next session, we're going to talk about A+ content, which as a brand you'll have access to. Can you see the cars, peanut butter and dark chocolate?
Yes, you can.
Okay, cool. So this is a well-done branded page with A+ content. You'll notice they have video listing. If you come down here, these are the bullet points. And remember I said you kind of lock these in as Brand Registry so nobody else can come in and add or change anything to these points. You come down here and you'll kind of see a little bit about their story. So this is the A+ page feature where from the manufacturer, they get to really kind of show images, maybe tell you a little bit more about their product, their story as well. This isn't the shop or the store page that we looked at previously. This is A+ content on your product page. So specifically geared towards that PB and dark chocolate mix. It's telling you a little bit more about it. It's kosher, it's gluten-free, giving you some kind of ideas of how you can enjoy it. And this is another really cool feature that it presents some of your other products in front of the customer that they can compare various selling points to, and you have access to build out this this section so you could show various points or positions that are important to the various SKUs or pack sizes that you're offering. And that's kind of the benefit of the A+ page content. Now let's look what a more blah or bland content looks like, and you can see why A+ content is so good. And forgive me, I'm giving a terrible example because I want to show how poor, the difference between a good listing and a bad listing. But here's a listing without A+ content. And I do not know this brand. I don't know anything about it. It just was an easy one to pull up, but you can even see how the images don't really pop. There's no video, there's no additional photos here. We don't see anything about the oatmeal itself. Here's some videos that are from similar or related products, but we really don't have any buy-in or anything from the brand that's telling us their story. And I think that's so key when we're thinking about Amazon, is how are we telling our story to the customers? Because we can look at Amazon as a selling platform, as a customer acquisition platform, as a platform where people might find our brand for the first time, again, customer acquisition, and we're looking to give them as much information or as much about our brand story as possible. And I think we can really see that when we can kind of convey that message in a format more like sorry, struggling with my screen sharing here. But as you can see, when we have a format like this, it's a lot more compelling, and it gives the customer who might not know our brand or know too much about us a really opportunity to show them some cool stuff about who we are and what we do. So again, I just wanted to show the contrast between what a good listing is using A+ content and then what maybe a listing that needs a little bit of work. So with that being said, why did we take this route? Well, as we go in and kind of set up our listings, we want to have content ready. And so I want you to go in and look at that A+ content, look at those bullet points that we saw there, and kind of think about your bullet points for your products. And maybe some homework would be to come up with 5 bullet points that really tell a story about your product and your brand for this particular product that we are going to be maybe creating this listing for on Amazon. So you can go into the presentation and kind of click in and look at this cars and kind of look at the way they presented their brand as far as the bullet points, these 5 selling bullet points. Look at kind of their images and how they've presented their images. Amazon wants images on a white background, so you'll always see this kind of white background, etc. And so I would like you to think of 5 bullet points. I'd like you to also look at this title and kind of start thinking about title and then how you would like to call what you would like to call your product on Amazon. And this will help us when we're actually setting up an item, if you do have some stuff to plug in while we're going through that exercise in the following presentation. So let's look at what makes up a good listing, and we did look at that A+ content, but I just want to quickly look at another really great listing. I think King Arthur's flour does an outstanding job with their Amazon, and I just kind of wanted to show another really great listing so that we can understand what a quality listing looks like. So in their title, they've told us the brand, King Arthur. They've told us the product, all-purpose unbleached flour. Then they followed with their selling points. It's a non-GMO, project verified. It's certified kosher, and it has no preservatives. Then following, they're telling us the pack size that they're getting, a 2-pound pack of 12. So a very clear title that's telling us kind of exactly what we're getting. This is also helpful because you kind of are going to want to follow the same protocol for your brand. So as far as if you're going to have your brand name, product name, then kind of your point of differences or selling points, and then the pack size, you're going to want to have that consistent across all your products so that when we make variations, things start to make sense when they look together. So you can see their images are really all great images. They have followed all of kind of Amazon's specifications. They have this beautiful white background. You can't have these inside the image itself, but you can have them outside the image. So they've done a great job conforming with kind of Amazon's image requirements. They even have 3 videos listed right here in the listing itself, which could be a recipe. It could be somebody showing you how to use the particular product, etc. If we come down here, we look at their bullet points. They're all extremely descriptive. They're not full of fluff. They tell us exactly what we need to know about the product. So again, you can kind of start looking here to get an idea of how you would present your product with your 5 bullet points. And notice as we get down into the further bullet points, they're starting to more brag about their brand and who they are. So after you've kind of spoken about the product, you can kind of talk about who you are. Again, A+ content down here, and you know, just having really good, a good story to tell, and kind of to start putting together how you would like to present your brand here is going to be important. So let's look at this page and kind of get an idea about how or what you want to present. And this is a plug and play box. And I don't know if I added in the link. I don't think I did, forgive me. Maybe I'll follow up with the link of how to set up your store. But it is a very, it's a box and it's click and play. It's not like you're kind of developing your own store here. It's a very much plug and play into click here, add this here, and you're kind of done kind of thing. So I know we're running out of time here. I want to be respectful of everyone's afternoon. So how to set up an account. Getting started, click on this link, kind of follow all the steps, and it will get you through to setting up your Amazon account. Grocery is considered a gated category, which means we will need additional approval, to sell in there. However, I don't want you to get boggled down on that. We're going to go through brand registry. We're going to get approval, so this isn't a concern, and we'll walk through that as well. I just don't think it's, until we kind of have an account set up, it doesn't really make sense to go through this step. So we'll do this after the next session. Basically, in the application process, you might need to prove that you have the rights to sell your brand. This could be product images, proof of your rights to sell by an invoice or a receipt. It could be, as I said, uploading something from the Secretary of State showing your logo, etc. But you'll be prompted to add this information once you are setting everything up. It would be very helpful if you have set up your account as we go through the next session, because we are going to be looking at best practices for setting up products, etc. So while we end here, I'll quickly share one last screen with you. And I know we've gone over, so thank you very much. So all you would do would be click on sign up, and then go through the, oh, it's going to take you to my account already because I'm already obviously signed up, but you would go through that process and get yourself signed up. Thank you everybody for participating in this session. I know we ran over, but I'd gladly answer any questions if we have any questions at this point. So your homework, while if any questions are popping up, would be to decide whether you wanted to be a 1P or a 3P seller, or if you wanted to do a hybrid of that. Also, did you want to do an individual account or a professional account? As I have suggested, I think it's important to do a professional account coming from the standpoint of being a brand and taking advantage of all of the offerings that Amazon has to offer for a brand. So for homework, let's do those 2 things. And then also, if you could put together 5 bullet points for an item that you'd like to set up, that would be wonderful. Let's not get too hung up on images yet, but I'm assuming you do have images of your product ready, and we can utilize those as we build out our first listing on the next session. So I'm going to hand this over to you to wrap it up.
Yeah, thank you so much, you guys, for joining in. This session will be recorded and uploaded to the coloradoproud.org site for reference later on. And our previous recordings are on there as well.